Advisors, this is for you. Everyone's going to talk about why you should buy Bitcoin because, it's going to save the world and do all this other stuff. And that's cool. I want to talk to advisors, people who are advising others who work at advisory offices, who have assets under management. If you are someone who is in that profession, Bitcoin is the single most important income increaser that you have ever experienced. I don't care whether you're selling insurance products, whether you're selling investment products. Whatever it is, Bitcoin is going to compound your earnings faster than anything that you have ever experienced. I'm going to talk you through why, because of a conversation that I had with a friend of mine who manages, and her branch is in New York. Her branch does about $350 million of assets under management. And she is now she's obviously selling Fidelity products, but Fidelity is not educated on how to sell the Bitcoin product that's now come out. So, and they will do that, by the way. Fidelity will educate people, right? But they'll tell them, hey, listen, look, this is the offering, this is the compound annual growth rate, this is this, that, and the other. And that's about it, right? What you need to learn is how to actually sell Bitcoin to your clients. Why would you want to do that? Well, let me walk you through her example. She's got $350 million of assets under management, right? Those $350 million of assets under management are going to allow her to, let's say she put in 1%, not a big allocation, just a 1% allocation of that $350 million from her fund went into Bitcoin in 2020 at a $5,000 price. Let's imagine the ETFs were around at $5,000, right? Well, today, in the middle of a bear market, today, that would have grown to now, let's say, $40,000. So that's an 8x increase. But what would that have meant for her as the advisor and her branch? Well, in the year one, that 1% allocation of $350 million, which is $3.5 million, would have generated a fee of $50,800. Today, just 4 years later, that same allocation, without being reallocated, would be generating her a fee this year of $408,000. It's the single biggest income increaser for advisors that has ever been created. 24/7, 365 with Bitcoin, everybody's getting paid. So this is why I need you to focus on it. They've put it in the portal that you have. They've told you that the product is there, but they haven't told you why you need to sell this. I can do this. I can tell you why you need to do this because it's the single biggest income opportunity that advisors have ever faced since probably the creation of ETFs themselves, right? This is an opportunity like none other. And again, this is doing right by your clients because, by the way, that $3.5 million allocation would now be worth $28 million, and all of her clients would be telling everyone else that they know to drop their advisors and join her branch if she had done that in 2020 and if the ETFs were available back then. And by the way, here's the crazy part. Based on all of the surveys that have been done, around 80% of your clients own Bitcoin without your knowledge anyway. So you're not making any money from the money that they're already putting into Bitcoin. So this allows you to grow your advisory firm and put those assets under management. And worse, the craziest thing about this is if you sell Fidelity products, you sell BlackRock products, the product is already in your portal. You're just not selling it, right? So her firm, her branch has a 1.45% roughly 1.45 to 1.55% fee of AUM. And so that would have been her numbers. Her fee would have grown in the first year of a 1% allocation. I'm not talking about a 2%, talking about a 1% allocation, right? I'm pretty sure if you're hearing this and you're an advisor, you can get anyone to allocate 1% in anything, and let alone the fastest growing, hardest, most secure asset humanity has ever created that is finally being backed by BlackRock, Fidelity, and all of the institutional guys. Besides that, I'm pretty sure you could get them to invest 1% in anything, right? I'm pretty sure if you said, hey, I'm about to buy a bunch of Rolexes from behind a truck, from the back of a truck, I'm pretty sure you could get 1% of your clients to allocate into that, right? Let alone, an asset that is growing at a 70% CAGR, that is becoming institutionalized finally, that is about to get income possibilities on it with the options being approved. This is the single most important income opportunity for advisors in the world. And I feel sorry for you guys because no one's teaching you how to sell it. Why would they be doing that? Here's my opinion. They're not doing that because whichever fund, whichever asset manager's products you're selling, they've got their internal clients. They've got their $5 million plus, $10 million plus clients, whatever it is, right? $5 billion plus clients in the case of Fidelity and BlackRock. and they want them to get their position in, right? So you as an advisor who's going to be talking to people like my parents are not being educated on this yet because they're waiting for their positions to be filled for their highest net worth clients, and then all of the downstream education will start and you will be told about Bitcoin and giving it to your clients. But you could do it today, right? This is the reason why I started my YouTube channel. My parents have been buying property for 35 years, building a portfolio, and their advisor knows nothing about Bitcoin, absolutely nothing. So when I came onto the scene and started pivoting my assets to Bitcoin and educating them on why they need to pivot from, buying more real estate to keeping that real estate portfolio, and it's absolutely fine, generating a good, healthy profit, and just start pivoting to a Bitcoin allocation, they started understanding it. So my parents won't miss out. And the craziest part is you are advising my parents. And I don't want my parents to miss out on this opportunity here because because BlackRock, Fidelity, and all these guys are doing a step-by-step released approach. That's why I'm doing this video right now and calling every person I know who is an advisor to show them the opportunity that's going on. I called her up and I said, hey, the symbol is FBTC. She typed in and she goes, oh, it's already in our portal. I can already sell this. She just didn't even know she could sell it, right? So this is what's going on right now. You got the hardest, most scarcest asset available to you. You can sell this. Most importantly, for you and your business and your branch, by doing this, you're compounding your returns on your fees without making a single reallocation, without going through any other conversation with your clients, and it's not an equity compound, right? You're not taking $1 million allocation to $1.4 million. You're taking $1 million allocation to $8 million inside of 4 years in the middle of a bear market, right? I picked those points for a reason. $5,000 was a Bitcoin bear market, right? It crashed from 20 down to 5,000, right? We're actually lower than that, but it came up. So that was in the middle of a bear market. Right now we're in the middle of a bear market, and I picked 40 for a reason because we're in the middle of a bear market. I've picked could be the worst examples that you could pick, but still be sort of normal without thinking about the extremes. And it's an 8x increase in your fees and their wealth. They're going to be thanking you like nobody has ever thanked you before. And again, most importantly, this is important right now because the halving is coming up in April. So there will be a price run up as the supply goes down by half, and the highest net worth clients at BlackRock, at Fidelity will be getting their allocations in this time period as we've started seeing the price go up now as this excess supply got chewed out of the market. There are reasons for this, but you are not being educated on this to sell this because it's not time yet for you to do that. But you can because the product is available. Stop listening. And by the way, if you're a client of an advisor listening to this, there's two very important things. Have empathy for your advisor because they have not been educated on this because it is not time for them to be educated yet as these other allocations get into place. Secondly, if you get your advisor, because I've seen so many stories of people telling me on Twitter that even their Fidelity advisor, was sheepish on allowing them an allocation into the Fidelity Bitcoin product. If that happens and you get your allocation in place, firstly, you need to force it, right? Because the advisor has to do what you tell them to do at the end of the day. You have to force it, right? So have that conversation, obviously understand the risks, and then tell them what you want. But most importantly, if you are looking at Bitcoin for a long-term hold position, you need to tell your advisor that you do not want this position reallocated. The moment you say that, they have to take that out of a reallocation formula that they have where annually they'll reallocate your profits and redistribute them. So you have to tell them that. I do not want this position reallocated. And then they will take it out of the reallocation formula in your portfolio if you are a long-term holder. And by the way, for advisors, again, I'm talking about a 1% allocation here. I'm not talking about a 10%. I'm not talking about anything. I'm talking about a 1% allocation that could grow the value of the earnings that your branch is going through like crazy. And here's the crazy part. If you're sitting here watching this, I got 25,000 subscribers, the fastest growing Bitcoin YouTube channel in the last 6 months, 1,800 to 25,000, right? We're getting, somewhere between 14 and 20,000 views a video. There are advisors that I'm speaking to. There are advisors that the people that watch me are speaking to, and that might be one of your competition. And the moment that your competition gets in ahead of you, you're done. Because if they get in ahead of you and they generate their clients a return that's bigger than the return you generate your clients and their clients are friends. So next time when they're at the picnic, next time when they're at the dinner and they start talking about, hey, my advisor got me into Bitcoin, and they go, my advisor hasn't even mentioned anything about Bitcoin. Oh, really? I'm already up 40% on my position. What do you think's going to happen to your allocation? It's being shifted from one to the other. I can understand the fact that you got long-term relationships, but I'm talking about here taking a $3.5 million allocation based on 1% of AUM and turning it into $28 million inside of 4 years. I don't care how valuable you think your relationship is. At some point, it's got to be stretched based on the ROI that's generated, right? So the question is, are you going to be an advisor who is going to take this opportunity to sell an SEC registered product that Fidelity or BlackRock or anyone else is providing, that's already in your portal, that you can already access and start selling? You're going to focus on getting that allocation in for your clients before someone else does, because I guarantee you, whoever that someone else is going to end up with the AUM that you've got at your branch or your office or in your organization, because they're just going to have better returns than you, and they're just going to be trusted for this future world that's being created, for this asset that is being securitized and approved and accepted by all of the institutions inside the United States. The main point here is you can sell Bitcoin related products if you are selling Fidelity, BlackRock, etc. products. You can do this. If you are a client and you're watching this of an advisor, send this video to them. You need to understand what you are missing out on here, and you need to understand how your fees can compound over a period of just 4 years. And by the way, that position that she's talking about, in another 4 years, you're looking at that fee potentially compounding to, I don't know, let's say $800,000 from a 1% allocation made 8 years ago. So the compounding effect on these fees is ridiculous. You need to start looking at this. You can already sell it. It's not something that you need to get approval for or anything like that. You can already sell it. The only thing you need to understand is why Bitcoin is important, why your clients need to get a 1% allocation into it, and you need to get to work, because someone else will get to work. And remember, there's always only 21 million Bitcoin. What that means is that no matter what you do and what the other person does, there's only 21 million Bitcoin to fight over, and the clients are going to start fighting over it, because now BlackRock and Fidelity at a higher level are fighting over it when you look at the flows and the daily passive buying that's going on. So this is the key. If you are looking to grow your advisory firm, Bitcoin is the single most important rocket ship for growth that you will ever experience in your lifetime, because of the limited supply of it. It has, in this example, fee growth. A 1% allocation in 2020 means resulted in a $50,800 fee growing to a $408,000 fee without any other conversation besides that one conversation to get a 1% allocation. You can already sell this. You need to go start learning about this. It's in the portal. Start calling clients. Start speaking to them about this, because someone else will. And if you are a client watching this, you're someone with assets and an advisor that's helping you with that, send them this video, send them my videos. And again, subscribe to the channel, because this is the point here. I want to try and get as many normal people like my parents to get into Bitcoin and get their at least one Bitcoin allocation out of their portfolio before they start missing out as the price goes up, and BlackRock, Fidelity, and all of them at a higher level get their allocation. And again, like I've been saying for a while, my time on social media is going to come to an end very quickly, right? By the time Bitcoin goes to $100,000, my message, I don't know, is it any relevant anymore on social media? I don't know. So if you want to keep in touch with me after that point comes, if you look in the description, you'll see how we can keep in touch once my days of social media are over, and I look forward to keeping in touch with you then. By the way, I put that out yesterday. And basically it says this is relevant for people with more than one Bitcoin. Obviously, people with less than one Bitcoin can sign up. I'm not going to ask for proof, but it's mainly relevant for people with more than one Bitcoin. And in one day, we have 620 people that have signed up to that. So that's, 620 minimum Bitcoin that has signed up to keep in touch, because this is the type of network that I want to build as this Bitcoin world unfolds. So check the description out. But ultimately, listen, advisors, this is the single most important opportunity you've got to grow your advisory firm. Listen, clients, this is the single most important asset that has ever been created, and it's the fastest growing, hardest asset humanity has ever seen. So if you're an advisor, get to work. If you know an advisor, send this video to them. They need to understand that they can already sell this asset. They don't do it. Have some empathy, have some love. Let's get together and let's start figuring out how we're going to get more people into Bitcoin so people like my parents don't miss out. But ultimately, there are always only 3 rules to Bitcoin. Step number 1, you buy Bitcoin. Step number 2, you shut the fuck up. And step number 3, you get fabulously wealthy.